Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. What's up?
Welcome.
Welcome,
Happy
welcome, Joe.
Wednesday.
Thank you for having me,
Yes,
guys. Happy Wednesday night.
this is our dear friend, Joe Renoni.
That's
Nice.
correct.
I almost said it wrong.
You got it
I was
right.
like, if I say it slow, then maybe it'll come out right. Joe Renoni of Paranormal New England here with us tonight. We're very excited for this episode of Behind the Veil. Hi, Lori. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, we've got some fun stuff in store tonight. Joe was unaware of what Behind the Veil does, so this will be fun.
Yes. It's nice to see
Because,
someone else in that seat.
right, because Kyle was here.
Oh,
Kyle
Kyle,
had
you
to go
fell
through
victim
it.
to it at one point?
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
had
Yeah.
the initiation process.
Yep. We got hi Melissa Jade. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we got Kyle, Danny, Rob, and Sarah. All fell victim
Oh, well,
to the
I'll be
behind
in
the
good
veil
I'll be
opener.
in good company then.
You'll be in great company. So yeah, let's start off with that. What I'm thinking is since we normally do like a face off and we do 2 minutes per guest, I think we should do a minute for my questions and a minute for your questions, Kyle.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that's good. I mean, I'm
All
a fast
right.
reader, and I have faith in Joe, so I think he's going to pull out a win.
Okay. I think he's going to do good. Um, let's see.
Let's
Fast
do it.
talkers, fast thinkers. Do good at this. All right. So, do you have a timer to time me, Kyle, while I
Um,
start?
I sure can. Just give me 1 second.
All right. So you're going to get a breather. Other people had 2 minutes no breather. You're going to get a quick little breather, Joe, when we switch over to the questions that Kyle has for you. Okay? We'll
Hmm.
see how many you get cuz this is a competition.
1 minute, correct, right? 1 minute.
Yes, 1 minute. Tell me when to start.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Remember, Joe, as fast as you can. Don't even think
Hmm.
about it. Just answer.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm
Gotcha.
ready now.
Go.
Fill in the blank. Tom Brady is.
The greatest.
What word do you prefer, ghost or spirit?
Spirit.
How many hats do you own?
15.
Pencils or pens?
Pen.
If you had to spend the rest of your life as a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Oak.
If a theme song played every time you entered the room, what would it be?
The bitch is back.
What does the term wicked pissa mean?
Really cool.
Finish these lyrics, and when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer.
I don't know that song.
Skip. What Sesame Street character do you relate to the most?
Oscar.
How do you feel about birds?
Give
Skip?
or take them. Give or take
Oh,
them.
okay. If a movie was made about your life, what would the title be?
Shit show.
What Hollywood actor would play you?
Bruce Willis.
Time.
Oh, the last one I had was the best one.
I
Okay.
can't. I can't believe the bird question broke Joe.
I know.
just,
It's just so odd.
Okay.
I mean, like,
just lost it.
Well,
Went
you
silent.
answered. You answered the bird question. These are like.
do you like? Was it? What was it? Do I like birds?
How do you feel about birds?
How do I feel about birds?
Yeah, I ask all my friends
What kind
that.
of
I need
question
to.
is that?
Well, I'm a bird mom. I don't know if
Oh,
you
that
know
was
this about me. I'm a bird mom, and I'm a little obsessed with
Well,
birds.
if
So
you had said pet bird, that would have been.
yeah,
I think I might have. It might have spawned an answer because I'm just picturing like the
birds in
birds in my
general.
yard, and I'm like, I don't really have any attachment to those birds.
I'm gonna ask you this last question just because I really want to know if you know.
Hmm.
What is a bop?
A bop?
Yeah.
It's a toy.
Oh, you're thinking of Bop It.
Bop it,
No, a
yeah.
bop is a really good song.
Oh, a bop.
Oh boy.
Yep,
I
she
try
bop.
to add
Yeah,
those Gen Z questions in there every
yeah.
once
Well,
in a
I'm
while.
I'm I'm not Gen Z, so
I think Kyle got one too. All right, so you got we passed on one. So 12 for me. So let
12.
me yep. He got cuz he passed on one. Oh no, and then okay, so 11 for me.
Gotcha.
11 for team girls. You didn't know that you were
Joe, you
giving
can't
Team Girls or Team
let
Boys
us
a point,
down
did you? Yeah.
no
It's a
pressure.
big
Joe.
competition. It's a big
All right.
competition.
Well,
now.
then I'm glad I stalled on the bird question then.
That was very strategic, Joe. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Oh yeah, I have to time you. Okay. Timer. 1 minute. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Go.
Is Bigfoot real?
Yes.
If you were a drag performer, what would your drag name be?
I want to hump a lot.
What was your nickname in school?
Joey Ray.
What old person thing do you do?
In bed by 6 o'clock.
Pizza or Chinese food?
Pizza.
What would you rather drive, an ice cream truck to work or come to work dressed as a clown?
Come to work just as a clown.
Would you rather wear bell-bottom pants or sport a mohawk?
Mohawk.
How do you feel about musicals?
Pass. I mean, I'll pass on them, not the question.
Okay. Repeat the following. I parked my car in Harvard Yard.
I parked my car in Harvard Yard.
Would you rather take part in a zombie apocalypse or a pandemic?
Zombie apocalypse all day long.
Would you rather go back in time or be transported to the future?
Back in time.
Would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands?
Feet for hands.
Time.
All right. So he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh.
12. What did he get with you, Boston? Was that 11? I think we won, Joe.
I don't know how we did that. How did we pull that up?
I don't know. I think it must just be the skills of the boys team.
The mind meld of the boys team.
There is one last question we didn't get
There
to.
is.
Should we
you
ask?
You should ask it.
Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
All right, Joe. This one is very important. So
Mm-hmm.
think about this one. All right. Who's your all-time favorite YouTube show host?
Show host? I don't know any YouTube show hosts.
Really, Joe?
We're on StreamYard. You should have said StreamYard.
This is YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now.
Are we live on YouTube?
Yes. You should have.
Well, clearly you folks are my favorite.
Right. We'll take that. We'll take that.
Okay.
You would have been better off saying what's your favorite show. Then I could have looked up in the corner and said Behind the Veil.
Oh, that would have worked too. Next time.
I thought you were going to say YouTube. I was thinking of channels. You know, I'm like, what's my favorite YouTube channel?
Your favorite YouTube channel is Haunted Road Trip.
Yes,
Just saying.
It is.
Right?
It is right below Paranormal New England.
Paranormally Blonde. Yes.
And
I was like, what are
Paranormally
other ones
Blonde.
we can? Yeah. All right. So let me.
I'm happy. There was another boy here.
Well, speaking of YouTube channels, I'm going to drop this in the chat. This is the YouTube channel for Paranormal New England, which Joe here is one of the founding members of Paranormal New England here in New England. I've had the pleasure of doing several investigations with him. He's a stand-up guy. Gets some amazing EVPs. There's some tricks, I think, that you do as far as height placement that really, really help with those.
Techniques. We don't want to use the word trick.
Okay, yeah, sorry, not tricks.
Technique.
Sorry. Techniques. Thank you.
Certain techniques. Yep.
Yes.
Yep, for sure.
That work really well. But there is the link to that channel. There's some incredible footage I had gone through, and shortly after I joined the Facebook group for Paranormal New England, which I'll drop that here in a minute too, and had gone through and looked at some of those videos, and they're really, really well done. Some incredible evidence. That was the first time that I got to see Cody and Satori do their thing.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
Right? And I still had no idea. So we're gonna cover all the bases.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
were just at the Conjuring House last weekend, so we've got lots of fun stuff to talk about tonight. Thank you for joining us, Nasa, Gina.
Gina
Welcome,
says,
everybody.
EVP Master, Joe. That's what Gina says.
Gina Gina's the one who said I can. She can do the podcast for me now. She's heard them so many times. She knows my stories. She's like, I can do the podcast for you. I may have her fill in for me in one of these.
There you go.
Want to start off with maybe an EVP? Do we have one to start off since we're talking about EVPs?
Let's see. Let's see. So we've got this slideshow, and I've never used this before, but I can try. All right.
Bear with us, people.
So the idea is that it plays.
Yeah. So if you're looking at the PowerPoint, I mean, we'll just do a quick one, I guess. So go down to like the Clinton train tunnel.
Okay.
And I got so many newer EVPs that I'm sure.
Oh, and then I press play. Okay, so
Yeah,
let me just do a screen share, and then hopefully
Okay.
that'll work.
Yeah, we'll just do little clip ones now since.
Yeah. Bear with me. Hi, the Obsoletus. Hello, spooky friends. All right. Present. All right, you can see that?
Yep.
Is there a way to make it bigger?
There's nothing visual. It's audio.
just
So
audio.
yeah.
Okay.
So just.
And then hopefully.
I think you can click on it, right? Yeah, there you go. No sound.
You guys can't hear?
No.
Shoot.
Hit the speaker over to the. There you go. Oh, it's all the way up.
Is that all the
Maybe
way?
you have to make that screen bigger, Boston. Down where it says 54%, where it says, looks like that.
No. Is
Little
Melissa still here? She knows how to do this. Let's see. Home screen.
Subscription.
Oh, I know what I have to do.
Where was this location at? Why Boston's looking for that?
So that's the Clinton train tunnel in Clinton, Mass. Abandoned train tunnel.
Cool.
Maybe.
From the 1800s time period, I guess.
Oh,
or-
yeah, easy. But it's not very long at all. Maybe 150, 200 yards long.
Oh.
But it
And
was
how do you-
Go ahead.
Is it? That's more of like an outdoor location, right?
It is. It is.
Do you find it easier or harder to get EVPs outside because of all the ambient noise, or how do you go
So
about
that's a big problem. But I really like some of the EVPs I've gotten outside have been incredible, but the possibility of contamination is greater, right, when you're outside. So,
Is there
it's
any-
one of those things.
Is there any techniques you do to, increase catching the
So-
EVPs, or is it just
So
luck?
for that particular location,
Mhm.
all you need to do is walk with your recorder recording down the tunnel, and they'll chime in on your conversations. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Really?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And,
I
and
got
this is
so
in
many.
Clinton?
It's in
'Cause
Clinton.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
location.
yeah. So it's in Clinton. I think it's blocked. It was in pretty bad shape. Started leaking, and some of the stones were coming down. And I think the town. Last I saw, they gated it off, which I'm kind of bummed about. But I haven't really been out there in a few years. But there was a point I was going there every weekend because we were getting EVPs all day
Every
long.
time, yeah.
Yeah, like almost every single time. I mean, like crazy ones. It's just, and they would just chime in on your conversation.
Oh, so you
No.
wouldn't even really be engaging with them? You'd just be walking and you'd get the EVPs?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
crazy. Somebody
Yep.
says the blind photographer, I'm sorry, said it was open last year. So
Oh, so maybe they fixed what they had to do and they took the fencing down. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's
Well, that's good
great.
to know. I want
Yeah,
to
it's
check
great.
that place out.
Yeah, well,
I'm-
Frank and I'll go with you. It's been a while.
Heck yeah.
That sounds like a haunted road trip.
It does.
Little road
Little
trip.
haunted road trip.
Yeah,
I love
it's
Francis'
really
Sweetheart.
fun. It's a fun little, and it's not a it's not difficult to get to, and it's a short ride. And the best part is you'll probably come home with some EVPs.
Yeah, I'm gonna try one last time. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
do a full screen share and see if that picks up the audio.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work, we'll move on from that. But let's. All right. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you hear it?
No.
No.
Oh, bummer. Oh, I'm so bummed. All right. Well, that is my fault, and I'm sorry that I didn't figure that out before the interview because I know the kind of EVPs that you get. Because I've gotten them with you, and Kyle is also incredibly talented at getting EVPs, and so is Rob. So I don't know what do you think it is? Just that you're so experienced and like timing them out, like because I know something that I like that you do and that I didn't realize that I should be doing as a new investigator is like only pressing record for like a 4 minute time period. I would just go on an investigation, leave it on all night, and then spend hours and hours going through the next day.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I used to do the exact same thing, and it just I don't have the time now. You know what I mean? But and even those trips to Clinton, like I said, we'd be in there for sometimes up to an hour, and I would just let it run, as we're walking
And things like that. Yeah, yeah.
and you know what I mean. So, but now definitely burst sessions, right? So when we're out in locations, like burst session, because then right? It's almost like fishing, right? You drop your poles in the water, and all right, they're not biting. Reel them up.
Right.
We're gonna go to another spot.
Try something else and
Try
Mm-hmm.
try a different spot, and that usually works. If they're not directly in the room you're in, just move on. But
yeah, I think that's like how everyone, like a lot of paranormal investigators start. Like I remember when I first started, I just left the recorder running for hours. Like Joe said, it gets to a point where you're like, okay, let's do some burst sessions because I don't have 6+ hours to listen to this thing.
So it's like if you're not going to listen to it, then what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
But Chris, to answer your question, so I think it's a combination of equipment, right? I've probably purchased every recorder
Yeah, that's
out there in the market, and some definitely work better than others for whatever reason. And then I believe it's technique,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think it's intent.
Mm.
So I think it's those three things, you know what I mean? And I think it's building up a rapport throughout the years, because I went my first 6 months easily in the paranormal. I did not get a single EVP. I thought, all right, if I haven't gotten one now, then it's fake, it's phony, because I would have gotten one by now. And then I got my first one. It was crazy. And it actually came in the microphone of my Sony camera.
Right, so not even a recorder.
Right.
It just came straight through the video
Right.
camera. Where was this at?
So this was a home investigation in Weymouth, Mass, and
Okay.
so we were right on the we were in the Bridgewater Triangle, and we were in the lady's backyard, and she claims that she has spirits of little kids. She can hear them running around in her yard and whatnot. And she was taking us on a tour of her backyard, and I was filming, so I was more into video than audio. Again, this was early on when I started paranormal investigating, and it was actually the first night of using my Sony camera that I saved up and got. I hit record, and the homeowner's taking us trip through her wooded backyard, and thought nothing of it. And we just, I was just filming for documentation purposes, So then the next morning, I'm going through the footage, and within oh my gosh, the first minute of me clicking the record button on the camera, you just hear this little girl's voice, like singing almost to like a nursery rhyme type thing, and she's saying like, "Joe, Joe, come here and play
Your
with
name.
me."
Yeah.
My name,
Mm-hmm.
my name.
That's cool.
And I was just blown away. I mean, I was just so taken back, and I'm like, I'm calling for my wife. I'm like, I got one. I'm like, you gotta come here. You gotta listen to this, you know. And I play it for her, and she's like, oh well, there was a little. She's like, that's somebody's little kid, and I'm like, this was 1 o'clock
Yeah.
in the woods in Weymouth. I go, there was no kids out there with us, you know. And she's like, that's unbelievable. I'm like, yeah, isn't that crazy? You know, and then years and years and years later, I just run into by pure chance on a Craigslist transaction. I was grabbing some equipment, audio equipment from somebody down in Weymouth, and the guy's a sound engineer, and I guess he Googled, because my email is my first name, last name, right? I guess I guess I don't blame him. I guess he wanted
Now
to see who
everyone's
that.
gonna email you,
Yeah,
Joe.
you're gonna get spam.
Oh, I don't, whatever. I didn't give the so. But anyway,
Oh, that's true.
he Googled my name, and then it immediately tied back with Paranormal New England, blah 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 blah, and he was like, I I can't believe you're a paranormal investigator. He's like, I'm an audio guy. He's like, I can help you out with some sticky EVPs, this, that, the other thing. And I was like, you know what? I said, I got one that I would love to have, just even though when you're not supposed to clear them up, and I never have, but that
Mhm.
one, there's a lot. We were walking through the woods, so there's a lot of leaves crunching as we're walking.
Mhm.
And I was just curious if he could somehow isolate the leaf crunching and just get that out of the audio. You know, it would just
Yeah.
be so much clearer. So anyway, I gave him the sound file, and he was like, Jesus, he's like, you know what's so interesting about that? And he's like, I don't know if you realize this. I was recording in stereo, and on the camera, right on the bridge of the camera, the two mics are side by side. They're like this close to each other. The
Yeah.
left mic and like when you look at yours, right? Your Sony AX, the mics are side by side on the bridge of
Yeah.
the camera.
Are you talking
You're
about
like,
mine?
yeah, just
Yeah.
for your own, right? He's like Joe. He's like, that little girl's voice only came in on the left channel.
Oh
Which
wow.
that's even. So when that happens, like last weekend when we were at the Conjuring house, right? And there was what, like 3 different people with recorders going, maybe
Yes.
4. In that we
Yes.
were in the middle bedroom of the Conjuring house, and
Yep.
Joe had placed his right in. For anyone who hasn't been there, there's like these kind of cutout windows upstairs. Some people call them, what are they called? Dormers.
Yeah, those are like lookout windows.
Well,
There was a
they
certain
were
name.
gun turrets.
They were gun turrets. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. Yeah. I don't know exactly what the proper name for them is, but that's what they were. So essentially, it was one of the windows in the bedroom. You know.
Right. So he had placed it on the window in the bedroom, and you could see, because we were in the complete dark, and you could just see the light going crazy on yours and not going crazy on the other ones in the room. But
Yeah.
then so that's something that happens, is like, why is it only picking up right there? Like, it's not a huge room, you know what I mean?
You're right.
So it's kind of this phenomenon where you can have a bunch of people recording, and if it only picks up on one person's recorder, or you hear 2 different things on 2 different recorders, like
Sure.
that always blows my mind.
One recorder will pick up an EVP of a female, and
Right.
another recorder will pick up a male's voice.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the other recorders don't pick it up. So that one was just, I mean, for that to just, when 2 mics is, everything else is in stereo. Any
Mhm.
talking that night's in stereo. The crunching of the leaves is in stereo. That little girl, she imprinted on the left-hand mic.
That's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, that's so specific and such a, because it's got to be, it's well, it stands for electronic voice phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yes.
So I mean, and that's exactly what it is, because with EVPs, it's not like they're picking up something our ears just can't hear. Like that's what I thought it was at first, and now I kind of have more the belief that it's almost like they're entering that audio some way that's different than how the rest of the audio are speaking. The atmospheric noises go into it. There's something different happening, in my opinion.
Right. And one of the ones that's definitely going to make that PowerPoint is one of the last ones I got was not human, right? It was, did I ever play you that? I just got it a couple of months ago at the SK Pierce Mansion, the pool ball break.
Oh yeah. I heard. I don't know where you shared that, but yeah, I heard it. That was crazy. It sounds just like it's somebody just
they racked them up,
yeah,
and they're breaking. Just
so
a pool
clear.
ball break.
So like, there's no other
SK
like
Pierce?
when you hear it, there's no other way that's just what you hear. There's nothing that's like maybe it's this. It's like no.
Yeah, right.
Someone playing pool.
And again, 2 recorders side by side. So that's the other technique I'll use. I'll always have 2 recorders side by side because that way you can rule out, well, that was one of us. You know what I mean? It's going to be on both recorders. You know what I mean? So that's why we do them side by side. So I had 2 recorders on the bureau in Eno's room. We were asking just the standard come to your mind EVP questions, and I went to play the recorder back, and that was another one that just I didn't have to wait long. It was like within the first 6 seconds, and I knew exactly what it was the second I heard it. I'm like, that's a pool cue break.
Yep.
And I knew that there used to be a pool table in that house, right on the floor above the room we were in. And that's what it's like. You can kind of reason a voice, but how do you reason an inanimate type of thing like that, right?
Just a sound.
Right.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's wild.
It was wild.
Yeah, you got to take me there sometime. I still have not been to the SK.
Oh, the SK?
The SK.
Yeah, the SK.
Pierce.
You got to get you to the SK for
yeah,
sure.
I've heard some crazy
Oddly
things.
enough, that's the first place I met Joe.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That
got
was
some good.
Cody and Satori came that night too.
That's correct.
And you
Okay,
guys
so
some good EVPs that night too.
We did, yeah. We got some good ones, yeah.
I feel horrible that we don't have the EV. You're just gonna have to come back, Joe, at some point, and we can play more. I can pre.
Well, I'll update it for the people that have watched multiple podcasts because they're just hearing the old ones, time and time again.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna update it.
That would be a really cool show idea. I could bring some of my EVPs. We can collect some EVPs,
like a whole episode that's just
kind
EVPs.
of break them down and see what Joe.
I love that. I want to show a little video clip about because for anybody watching, Get Haunted. It's official. I finally have my shirt. Get Haunted was at the Conjuring House last weekend, and it was a very special event. It was run by Joe here, Rob, of course, from Get Haunted, and Corey, who used to own the property. So it was an amazing night. Lori from Get Haunted was there with us as well.
Yeah, it was a good night.
Amazing guests, and I was invited to come tag along, and we had a pretty amazing night. There were one thing that I really admire about investigating with you, Joe, especially when it comes to the EVPs, is that you do a very thorough job of listening over and over and over, and when we think we hear something, you want to make sure like that's really a phenomenon, like a voice phenomenon, or can we debunk it? And there was a moment we were up in that middle bedroom, and we kept how many times did we listen to that over and over? Because
half a dozen easily, right?
You heard it. We kept hearing. I think we ended up going with "Stop picking on Joe," or "I'm picking on Joe." Right. And it sounded like somebody else in the room who was with us, Mike, like it was his voice. And he was like, well, I didn't say that. None of us remembered him saying that. And then we picked up somebody else's recorder. Finally, after we had gone through it over and over, we're like, okay, so now let's test other people's recorders. And we can clearly hear it's picking up drums.
Yeah, that was right.
Denise
had said, and that recorder was closest to her. So that's why the recording came out clearer.
strange on the other one,
And then the
clearer
one
on that
across
one.
the room, right? By the time it, it didn't pick it up because it was far away from her.
Right.
So her sentence wasn't the clearest.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I would have, at the very least, the very end of it, I thought it said Joe.
I was certain.
Yeah, me
that it said
too.
Joe.
Me too.
And we were kind of debating what it was saying at the beginning, and then it's picking on, and
Yeah.
we finally so we debunked that.
we
But in
debunked
that
it. Yeah.
same room and at that same time during that same session, and I believe that was on Corey's recorder.
We
you,
got one. Yeah. Yeah.
You were saying your goodbyes to the recorder. We can hear you saying, "All right, I'm going to turn this off now," and it said, "You got what you need."
You got what you need. Yeah.
And it was
yeah.
in this growly, deep
and to
voice.
just say how good of a friend and good of a guy Corey is, he gave me that recorder.
Huh.
Did he?
He
Oh
did.
my
That's
god!
awesome.
Yeah, Corey is seriously. So I just have been so lucky to fall into this world and just meet some of the nicest, warmest people. Corey is a man of few words. You're great friends with him, so I'm sure you've heard more words than I have. But the 2 times that I was able to hang out with Corey, it just genuine, real people. And I mean, it was a
100%.
trip to be at that house and to see somebody who had owned it and lived in it. And you worked at the Conjuring House for a long time. Rob, who had, that was his 13th night,
Mm-hmm.
spaced over time at the Conjuring House. It was my third time back. That place is something special.
It really is. Yeah. For sure.
Cody and Satori, I don't know if everyone has heard of Cody and Satori, but they're known as the paranormal couple. They work at the caretakers. They're caretakers.
They're
at the
staff
Conjuring
now,
House?
right?
They're staff now. Okay.
They're staff now. So
Okay.
they'll do whatever it is, 1 week, 2 weeks a month at the house.
Sorry, 1 second. So right now, Chris of Haunted Road Trip and Get Haunted, is with Sarah of Paranormally Blonde and Get Haunted. What's the place called again? Bly Manor
Bly Manor.
Blind
in
Manor.
Ohio. So they might be popping in just to say hi real quick. In a few minutes here. But sorry, talking about Cody and Satori, there was just a small clip I wanted to share because I watched your video and I'm sure people will come across it, that you took at the S.K. Pierce house or mansion. Is it the S.K. Pierce mansion or house?
Mansion.
It was mansion. I mean,
Yep.
it's bigger than a house. And I watched that video and I remember just watching the video and being blown away because you can clearly see a message coming through. These two have something very, very special when they connect and touch physically. Something mind-melting happens. In your video, I didn't have the volume all the way up in my headphones, and I thought that they were just communicating via touch. So basically, Satori will start going through the alphabet, and she'll start getting answers. And I thought maybe it was this... maybe Cody was squeezing when Cody was feeling something, and my mind was blown because Rob clearly receives a very powerful message from one of his loved ones through that. They're your friends. I know that you've seen it happen tons of time.
Mm-hmm.
But basically Rob's, invited everybody. We were honored that they came out, talked with us, and I was honored that they shared this gift. I was not expecting it at all. And I'm pretty sure Frank and Rick have video of my face from across the room, just because what I didn't realize was that there are, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Those noises, and they're intelligent. And when you ask a yes, and when it's a no, I might have those backwards. Satori will go through the alphabet, and when she gets to the letter they want her to stop at, not once was there a word that was just gibberish.
Yeah, that didn't make sense or
Right.
or have a direct meaning behind it.
And you could feel the spirit walking in and out of the room. Not only could you hear the taps get quieter and louder, but you could hear them kind of moving around and you could feel it getting closer to you. And actually, before I play this clip from the Conjuring House of Cody and Satori with Rob, we have a special guest real quick. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Chris?
Hey.
Man, so I just got done. This place is crazy awesome. I actually just got done doing my first scrying mirror session. And so we were live on Get Haunted. And I saw a woman walk up, pass behind me. And then I didn't see her anymore. So we turned on the lights, and the closet door next to me was wide open after it had been shut when we were doing this thing.
So it was shut when the lights, like before you turn the
When
lights
we,
off, and then when you turn them on, it
we
was
put
open.
put like a little REM pod thing in there, and shut the closet. And we asked her to go into the closet, and I saw her walk out, and I did lose my cool on camera.
You did? Yes. Yes. Okay. Sorry. You said
You
the
hear-
other day that you don't. I don't lose my cool. I don't. Get
You hear
scared of
me
these
say
places.
I think I did another one of those ones where I say every swear word you can possibly say in a matter of a
And it just
second.
sounds like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I didn't see the person again. And then Sarah turned on the lights and the closet was wide open.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible. How about that, man?
When I first walked in here, the guy greeted us, opened the door. I walked in, I saw a little redhead kid standing on the stairs, and in the middle of the tour, he starts talking, and he said, "Yeah, a lot of people see a redhead child walking up and down these stairs." And
Really?
that got me. Sarah saw a shadow, pretty much right when we walked in as well.
Very active.
Yeah, few places. People have been kind of brushed up on their leg and that. Yeah, it's an amazing, awesome location. Finally, something in my backyard that I can
Nice.
get
Yes,
to.
because Chris has
That's
been
awesome.
in Michigan, like,
Chilling out.
yeah, just chilling. And I've been going on these investigations, and I've met these great people here in New England. Speaking of paranormal New England, I've met these great people like Joe, and I've had the opportunity to go to some other places and investigate. But since our trip, you haven't had that opportunity. So this is awesome. I think it's time we make a road trip to Ohio.
Let's do it.
There's
Yeah,
a lot in
Yeah,
Ohio. There's a
I've heard
lot
there's
in
a lot in
Ohio.
Ohio.
Now, when you saw the redheaded kid on the steps, did it look like could you tell the gender? Could you tell
Yeah.
like full person standing there? Like it didn't look like ghostly like people
No.
say? Or
No,
people
it
say?
looked like there was a little kid that was just hanging out here.
You messaged me right away. We already saw shadow people.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Chris, I'll tell you what. Next time you do a scry, have a recorder with you because I've had some pretty interesting things.
Really.
EVPs
Yes.
during
the
scrying.
scrying session. Yes.
And did
Yep.
you do you know any of the history of the house or anything, Chris? Or
Well, here's all the death certificates.
okay.
So this was a house for Boston's just big.
I'm trying to fix.
There you go.
This was a house for handicapped children
Okay.
and children whose parents abandoned them.
Okay.
Right, which back in those days, that wasn't a very happy place to be.
No.
Yeah.
So
That's where you saw the little girl.
a
Notice
little
that.
little boy standing right there.
All right. Cool.
Heather wants to know: Is this one close to West Virginia?
No, this is right outside of Michigan.
Right outside of Michigan, Heather. It's called Bly. How do you spell it? B-L.
BIHL.
I still don't know how to do this.
All right. I'm going in
That's-
the basement.
I'm going in the basement.
No fucking lights.
Famous last
Alright.
words.
Right?
So there's no real lights down here. Apparently, there's a child that bites people, bites men down here.
Bites men. Oh, nice.
Good thing
Good
you're going
choice
down
to
there.
go down there by yourself. Yeah.
Take one for the haunted road trip team,
Yeah.
Chris.
Bill.
So-
Yeah, I think it's pronounced Bill.
So where I'm standing right now is where all of those encounters have happened. Bill.
Okay.
Yeah. So this
Bill.
is where all the encounters have happened, where
Oh shit.
it is felt. Oh,
You're breaking up a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, he's breaking up.
assuming that it's
Probably because he's in the basement. The
Yeah.
signal.
Yeah.
or
I don't know how to
Head
fix this.
head towards
No,
the
you're
stairs.
still breaking up. I think it's because you're in the basement.
Yeah, that's probably why.
This is
Well, we're still getting decent video. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can- That's either Chris or a shadow person.
I was gonna say I just saw a big shadow on the wall earlier, but I'm pretty sure it was Chris.
well.
All right, now we can't hear you at all, Chris.
I'm gonna get out of.
I hope you're not being
here,
bit.
Investigate.
Yeah.
I will touch base with you guys a little later.
Yeah, let us
Okay,
know how
sounds
it
good.
goes.
Be safe. Have
But,
fun.
I don't know if you guys can. You can't hear me at all.
Yeah, we can hear you a little better now. Yeah.
Bits and pieces.
All right, can you hear me better? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Now we're
Yeah.
good.
So, other thing, just say real quick, like this whole is built with limestone too.
Oh,
Oh, and we had talked about hadn't you and I talked about that with the because isn't the Conjuring House basement limestone?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You're talking like the magnetic tape theory, right?
Mhm.
Just that it's like a
holds energy better and
Holds
whatnot.
energy,
better.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. That's really good to know. Man, I mean, it sounds like you guys have had a very, very active night. I'm definitely interested in checking that
Yeah.
place out.
We've only been here for like not even 2 hours, so.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a
yeah,
it's
so-
a get haunted location, and after I don't know how that's gonna work, but I know tonight was the college trip. How are the guests enjoying themselves?
Chris is enjoying
Good.
himself.
I'm enjoying myself.
Chris is like, I'm a guest. What are you talking about? I'm enjoying myself. All right.
So,
yeah. Go
all right,
investigate.
guys.
Yeah,
Have
go outside.
fun. We'll talk to you
All right.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a location we need to check out on a haunted road trip.
Yeah, I'm interested. Gina said that she's been there.
That's cool.
Is it in Ohio?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it's in like I don't quote me on this Friedman, Ohio, or something like that. Something with an F. Somebody Google that real quick. Let me look up my phone as we talk to Joe.
Okay. Well, as you talk to Joe, I want to play that one video of Cody and Satori real quick, and then I want to hear your thoughts, Joe,
Mm-hmm.
on you personally seeing this many times. And everyone listen, everyone in chat, listen as closely as you can. I didn't enhance the audio in this particular clip, so they're going to be hard to hear. But anytime you hear like a tapping or knocking sound, that is coming from the floor, and it's moving around. Who you're going to see in this clip is Satori, Rob, and Cody. So let me share this.
Whatever that sound is.
You hold his hand. So
Hold
now,
his hand. There you go. I'm okay with it.
you
Hold
ready?
his hand like you meant it. There you go.
Can you walk around a little bit? You feel them moving? And then if I...
Oh shit!
What?
Like,
Did I shock you? Are
yeah,
you okay?
no,
Sorry.
yeah.
I actually heard it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the
But
shock.
not, no, but it wasn't like a,
Thank you.
It's almost like a child is dancing around the floor.
Yeah.
What's your best dance move? Oh, that's a good one.
It's doing it too.
That was a good
That
one.
was heel to toe. That's a,
Yeah, I know. It was like a. I like that
it
one.
was like needles. So you said you got shin splints, right? I know what shin splints are. But this felt like needles around my arm. This,
All right.
It's incredible.
You could actually hear it pretty good.
Yeah, you
I
could.
could you
You
guys
totally
hear that
could.
in the chat? Let me know if you guys could hear the knocking in that chat. So yeah, I'm still trying to process it, I think.
It takes a little bit when you experience it.
Yeah, does it get easier when you've seen it over and over and over again to just
I
be
mean,
like,
I
this
don't.
just
I
the
mean,
thing that happens, or-
no. It honestly, it doesn't. To be honest, totally
Yeah.
truthful with you, you still get blown away by it. You know.
I mean, what got me by it the first time I experienced it when I was at SK Pierce with Joe, is like it made me think like, okay, we're running around with EVP recorders and trying to get the littlest bit of information, and when
Right.
we get a word, we're like blown away. And this is like a whole nother level of like consciousness.
Mhm.
You're having an actual conversation through knocking.
Mhm.
Like it's a whole nother level of interaction. And it takes a while for you to sit there and go, oh my God, we're having a conversation with someone I don't know where they're at on the other side or in between. I don't know it, but the intelligence and the way that you interact with them is that's what got me. I mean, the knocks after the first couple of seconds that like no one's moving, you're like,
Hearing
okay,
them walk
this is
into
happening.
the room is what got me, because
Yes.
you can actually hear the spirit or ghost. Which word do you prefer? I know that was one of the.
I like
last
spirit.
questions.
I like
I
spirit.
like spirit too.
Yeah.
But you can actually hear the spirit coming in and leave it. Like their footsteps get louder and quieter, and you can kind of feel the direction that they're moving. There was one
It
point that
was very directional that night.
yeah.
The noise, the knocking, but sometimes depending on the location, like you cannot tell whether it's coming from the floor,
coming
the
from,
wall, this
Mhm.
like in the Murdoch Whitney house, they did it upstairs in the Murdoch's master bedroom, and you nobody could tell where it was coming from. It was just there. The noise was there. We couldn't tell whether it was the wall, the floor, the ceiling.
Well, and it did feel like the floor that night at the Conjuring House last weekend. It felt like the floor to me, because I remember I kept looking at the floor, but there was a few times where I felt because they literally would send Abigail, who used to live at this house. When did we got her the date she died in that session, February 19th, 1869, I think.
You got a good memory. I think you're right.
Whoa, where'd that come from? I
Yeah.
really don't have a good memory, so that's bizarre. But I think that's where it came from. And what you didn't see in that clip, so that clip was at the end of their session. And Rob just kind of made a split decision and said, I'm going to stand in between these two and see if it works. And you can see in that clip that it works.
Yeah.
And they've done that with you and a group of people before too, where
Sure, I was further down the line from them, but
yeah. So you were telling me you didn't feel any like shock or anything.
I
like
did
that,
not.
but-
No. But I was probably about 2 or 3 people removed from
Mhm.
them.
It's just wild.
It
It's
is. It
absolutely
is.
wild.
It really is. It really is. And when I first met them, years ago, before they were even on the show, and but I knew they had this gift, and I was able to witness it at one point, and I just said to her, I go, "It's Tori," I'm like, "What does your dad think of this?" And she was just like, well, she's like, he won't comment on it one way or another. And now they're on the show doing it, so if
They do it on the show? Okay, and what's the name of the show for the people in the audience who don't know?
Ghost Hunters,
I know.
right?
When I met Satori, I was like, so I have to admit, I've never seen Ghost Hunter.
Yeah.
was like,
So
I didn't even know. Like,
so for her
yeah.
dad, right, who's like right up there, like when you think
Right.
paranormal, like there's only a couple of names that come to right to the forefront of your mind, and he's definitely one of them, right? And their show is pretty much no nonsense, you know what I mean? And for him to go from not making a comment,
Mm-hmm.
three plus years back to putting those guys on the show kind of tells you
Right.
right there that whatever's going on there is legit, because they're not going to take a chance,
No.
with especially being on TV, with with their reputation.
There's no way when you watch it happening too in person, it's probably much different than because I was still, my mind was still blown watching it on
No,
your video, but
you
in
got to
person,
it's just one of those things, right? Like you can listen to music on the radio or an MP3, but
or
you
a
got to
live
see
concert.
you got to see the band live for the
Yeah.
experience. You
Absolutely.
know what I
Well,
mean?
and
And it's the
when
same
it's in
difference.
person, it's
Right.
undeniable.
Right,
It's undeniable. It's
right. And there's the opportunity for them to connect with somebody
Mhm.
with you, right?
Mhm.
From your family. So it's just, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never said the only thing I've seen that I can't even say is close to it. But the only thing, like when I try and describe it to people, is if anybody has ever done table tipping.
I
You
haven't
know,
yet.
yeah.
I'm really interested in
The
in
way
trying that
the
out.
way the message is conveyed,
Yeah.
right, is the table knocks,
Mhm.
and you count out the alphabet till it stops.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's the only way, like, I can
Or
attempt
like
to to
human
describe it to somebody. You know what I mean?
table.
Like, have you ever seen table tipping?
Right.
But it
Like
clearly
they're the
it's
human
two different
table
right. Yeah,
tipping
they're
thing.
they're a human table
And it's
tipper.
also just romantic as fuck. I mean, come on. I think it's so romantic.
Well, were you there when I told you the story about the chair?
Yes. You could tell the story if you want. No? We're not going to
So
tell
no,
the
I
story?
don't. I mean, I don't think I'll get arrested at this point.
That's a great way to start the story, Joe.
So not that we condone. I had permission to go into the Norwich State Hospital, and we were in one of the resident staff sections where they house the doctors and the nurses and whatnot. And one of the houses was in remarkably good shape, and it was void of all furniture. But there was this one chair, this one dining room chair, just like stashed away in the corner. And I'm like, this chair doesn't even like belong here anymore. Like this is just like, take me. So I knew we were having Cody's rebirth, right? Because of his successful remission of cancer, so they have a rebirth party for him. And I'm like, oh, he'll flip out for this. I'm snatching it, right? So it's me, and you met Vicky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I met Vicky too.
I love
She
Vicky.
was
Yeah.
Vicky's great.
Yep.
So I was like, what do you think, Vicky? She's like, yeah, let's do it. So any long story short, we got the chair for Cody, and his birthday party was at the Conjuring House. So like he had no idea. I put a bow on it, and I put from Paranormal New England, happy
So
birthday,
cool.
whatever, and I'm like, I'm not saying it's haunted, dude. I go, but it's pretty cool addition to the museum or whatever you want to do with it, So the chair was in the other room against the wall, and after we had done celebrating, having cake and investigating, everybody was just kind of taking a break. He sits down in the chair, and right next to the chair is the love seat, and Satori sat down next to him in the love seat. I sat down next to her, and she just innocently reached out and put her hand on his knee, and you just hear, and I'm like, you got to get a name. I got to know whose chair that is. You got to get a name. So sure enough, they were like, whose chair is this? And it knocked out Dr. Samuel Wright.
Oh my God.
and I have not been able to tie that name back to the Norwich State Hospital, but it was undeniable that it was Dr. Samuel Wright with a W-R.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. So I never would have got that answer, right?
Yeah.
Could have tried
Well,
with me.
and
Could have tried
also
with a
just
recorder.
congrats on one like the coolest birthday gifts to give someone ever.
Yeah.
Such a cool gift.
I'm not gonna be able to outdo this one.
Yeah, no, that's a great gift. And birthday party at the Conjuring House. I mean, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, even last weekend when I met them for the first time, and they, after they had done their thing, you notice they kind of like they do give themselves space between each other.
They get tired. People
Yeah.
don't realize this. It's draining on them, and they
would
get
be exhausted.
tired, and I
Yeah.
see it, and but they
It's as soon as they connect, because then what I was saying is that like they kind of give each other some space, and then I think she was like laughing or like put her hand on his shoulder, and then we heard a few of those taps, and there was a few times like that before they went for the night, where it was just an innocent little like, let's see if it happened, like, and of course it's anytime they touch it happens. It's insane.
Mhm.
Sorry, my cat's
Yep.
meowing at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joe, do you have any tips or techniques for people who are just starting out with EVPs? New paranormal investigators, or what kind of recorder should you start with? Anything?
So I would definitely start with a recorder that's voice activated, that either has a VOR or a VOX feature that's only going to start recording when it picks up on sound. That's definitely one tip I would give as far as recorder goes. That's primarily recorders. Voice activated recorders. I have some that are not, that I use, but definitely much better luck with the voice activated ones than not. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I would probably stay away from anything that's considered like a studio grade recorder for like music and stuff like that. I just think the technology has way too many filters
Yeah.
built in, right? Because they're there to collect the best fidelity it can, and I think the EVPs, they might be coming in, but I think the filter, the built-in filters are eradicating it from recording. So don't spend a lot of money. Try and find some Olympuses or Sonys that have a voice activated. That's number one.
And older, would you say, would be a good tip?
Not
older,
necessarily older. No, not necessarily older.
Just like all the bells and whistles that come with like
Yeah,
those super
yeah.
high-end
Just
mics.
something that's a voice recorder.
Okay.
Voice recorder. You just knocked it right out of my head.
Sorry.
What I was gonna say. Don't spend a lot of money. Oh, boy, you ruined me, Chris. I had a
Sorry,
really
I'm
good. I had a
saying,
really good tip too, and now
I mean, I know one for you because you gave it to me as someone starting new in the field. Short bursts instead of.
do burst sessions. Leave a little. Ask your question. Leave a little bit of time. You can even get. I've heard smartphones get phenomenal EVPs, right?
Yeah, everyone has one of them. So
Yep, everybody has one of them. Do not get discouraged was the next piece of advice I'd give, because I went a solid 6 months before getting an EVP, and then I think intent has a lot to do with it, right? And I just think the more I did it, I think I built up a rapport, so to speak, with the other side, and they know I'm not doing it for anything monetary or anything like that, and I just think they're more willing to talk to me because of that, and just keep doing it, and you'll get the first one, and then you'll start honing your own technique, and they'll probably start coming more and more and more. I mean, I'm kind of at the point now where, like, I'll at least get one. And I'll at least get one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
and before I'd go to 10 investigations, I'd come home with nothing. You know.
All right.
Yeah,
So
because the at least one at each place that I've been with you, because you got some at Wilson Castle too, right? That night, I'm pretty sure you.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
two good ones at Wilson Castle.
Was that you or Matt that got the?
That was me, and I gave it to Matt. I said, "You
What?
do what you want with it." I'm not. I'm not gonna. I'm not. That's one I'm not gonna showcase.
Yeah, there was a spirit at Wilson Castle who was ready to party. Let's just leave it at that.
Huh.
Take that for
Yeah.
what you will.
Well, I think these are pretty awesome tips.
Yeah, I just wrote them all down. 5 tips. Voice activated recorder. Don't spend a lot of money. Short bursts.
Oh.
Do not get discouraged. Intent.
I just remembered. You knocked it in my head. Turn your low cut filter off. Your just about any recorder is going to have a low cut filter. You want that off. If that's on, you're probably blocking anything coming through. And turn your mic sensitivity up. That's what I wanted to say.
So I'm going to ask sensitivity up. I'm actually typing all this. I can go back and read them later. So the low cut filter, I'm assuming that the manufacturer guides that you can find online teach you how to turn those. 'Cause I don't
Usually it's
even
just a
know what
slide.
that is.
Usually it's just a slide button. Oh, we lost Kyle.
Sensitivity. Oops.
How'd we lose Kyle?
Oh, we
Oh,
gotta
be right back. Okay. Yeah. So usually it's just a slide. Like it's a physical button on the recorder, and you just move it.
Slide it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get a new one because I don't have a voice activated. I just got a cheap, and you can get them for, like you said, don't spend a lot of money. I just got a cheap one on Amazon, but it's not voice activated. And I'm assuming that that's why, like yours had the red light blinking.
Yeah.
It's because it blinks when it's picking something up.
Right.
So that
Yep.
was your first cue, was when we were in that dark room.
Yeah.
was
When you see that light going like that,
Yeah.
you're like,
it was
all
like
right,
nonstop going. Yeah.
something's hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Before you go, we're gosh, it's already been an hour. Before you go, and I know Kyle said be right back. I wanted you to listen to. Have you heard the EVP that Kyle got at the historic Hoover House?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I totally
Yay,
have.
perfect
Yeah.
timing.
Little technical difficulties.
Yeah,
there,
that
folks.
was an awesome EVP you got at the Hoover House. I did hear it. Yeah, that was a good one. That's a prize for
Yeah,
sure.
I got that EVP, and I don't know. Sometimes when I catch, like Boston says, I catch really good ones, and sometimes I don't even think about the question. Sometimes, if that makes sense. Like when I caught this one, I never asked this question before, and it just came
It just
out,
kinda
and I
came
got
to
an
you,
answer.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if it's something else or intuitive or what, but that's usually how I get my good EVPs. I just don't think about it, and they just come. I don't know.
That's another good point, right? And that's another good tip, right? I mean, I don't think they're probably tired of what year did you die? You know,
Mhm.
like just try and think out of the box when you're
Mhm.
asking a question, you know?
Yep.
I remember, so Chris, you the first night at the Emory, right? That we
Yeah.
invited you out with us, right? Were you there when we played there was pitches laid out on the round table down in the
Yeah.
music room, right?
The dog.
The dog,
Yeah.
right? When I asked, I said, oh, I think I saw a picture of your dog on the table
Yeah.
downstairs. Can you tell me the dog's name? And you
Yeah.
just, Prince.
Prince. Yeah. And then we went through trying to see if we could find any, because some of the pictures had like
Some of the
writing on
pictures
back.
had writing. Yeah,
so we're like,
yeah.
where's Prince? Where's
Yeah,
Prince?
yeah. Wouldn't
But
that
yeah,
have been
exactly.
unbelievable if we flipped one of those pictures over and
Yeah.
it was like it said Prince? That
I-
would have just been like, oh my
It would have been
god.
more mind blowing. But Prince,
really
that was a
would've.
very clear EVP.
Yeah, that was really
and,
clear.
And exactly, it's thinking outside the box and just talking to them like you would a person, And I think that you are very, very natural at that. Kyle, I'm assuming is natural at it as well, because I've just heard the EVPs that you've gotten. But just being in the room with Joe asking the questions, he's just a natural, and I usually just stay quiet because I don't know what to ask.
And sometimes what works great for me sometimes is if you're not getting a lot of EVPs in different locations, sometimes just turn the recorder on and let them talk. Sometimes you don't even have to ask. That might be enough.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll chime in if they want. If the conversation's engaging enough, they'll chime in, and it goes back to what I said earlier in the night about the Clinton train tunnel. We never really did burst sessions. We would just run the recorders and just start chit chatting. And I've gotten some crazy stuff.
Cool. We're talking Clinton, Mass, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to check that tunnel out. All right. So let's close off the show. We'll say our goodbyes in a second, but let's play. It's a really quick 9-second clip, and this is Kyle's EVP capture that he got from the 1912 historic Hoover House. Here we go.
Can you help me finish this? Bring around the rosy pocket full of.
Very clear.
Yeah.
You don't even have to put captions on it.
Nope. I was going to say, do I need to play it twice? I don't think I even need to play it twice. Very clear.
And that's one of those, after I did it, I realized, man, that's a really good technique to use because everyone knows that rhyme. And even if I said it right now, one of you would probably answer. Like it's just a natural
response. Again, back to the Conjuring House with Cody and Satori, there was a spirit there that really liked this game.
Shaving a haircut.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone knows it's shaving a haircut.
Yep.
So yeah, those kind of things, especially like no matter how old they are or when they passed or if they I still have questions about that. There's definitely things that I don't think are human. I don't like using the D word because I don't necessarily know how I feel about that either. I just extraterrestrial. I don't know. But that's another thing is I don't think everything that we're communicating with is necessarily people who have passed away. Could be a different time. Maybe they're alive, but it's just a different time for them. I don't know. So I've got mixed beliefs on that, but I think that's also important when you're asking questions to not always ask that age-old, when did you die?
Okay.
Do you know you're dead? How does it feel like being dead?
Gina just put a pretty good comment in there too. She says, I'd like to say, do you like to play a game? I'm going to say Marco and you say Polo. That's another good one.
So that's a good one. And the other night, out of nowhere, we were doing the Estes. This was after you left, Joe. We were doing the Estes method in the library. And someone was under, and I was asking the spirit if they wanted to play Simon Says. And if they'd ever played Simon Says before. And then Denise was like, these are teenagers right now that we're talking to, and they think that that's a childish game. I was like, sorry. I think Simon Says is cool.
You gave it a shot.
Yeah.
Never hurts to try, right?
Exactly. Well, we gotta get going. It is past, I could talk all night with you two, but it's definitely past Joe's bedtime.
Oh, God, yeah. God, yeah.
I know, you should have been in bed like 4 hours ago.
I damn right I should have been.
I always laugh because I meet all these paranormal investigators who go on these late night investigations. Joe was at the Conjuring House until what, like 2 in the morning or something?
I left at 3.
You left at 3, right?
I left at 3, yeah.
And then I just assume that all these paranormal investigators are night owls like me. And surprisingly,
no, I'm still recouping from it. I'm still recouping.
It took me like 48 hours to get back to like a semi-normal sleep schedule. It was crazy.
And I had an interview on Monday too for a job interview.
No. How'd it go?
They said they want a second interview, so we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I hope you come back on some time.
Sure, just ask. Yeah,
with us. Absolutely. It was a blast. Thank you for all of your advice, and sorry we couldn't get your EVP.
Well, next time we'll make sure ahead of time that we got the right format cooking there, and I'll have some of the newer. I'll bring the pool cue break because that one's still just I'm baffled by.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Again, everybody, make sure I'm going to just drop it one last time. To subscribe to Paranormal New England's YouTube channel. Put on your notifications for any new video content that comes out. And then, of course, we've got the Paranormal New England Facebook group. Both links are dropped. Awesome. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Have a good
Thank
night,
you
guys.
again.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.